it's always a pleasure having you, and welcome to our program. I'm your host, Lily Shivoko. Today we're going to talk about character development, and with me is a guest who is the Reverend Mwalango Kililio, who is the chairman of Family Federation for World Peace. So for much more details, join us till the end of this program. I'm your host, Lily Shivoko. To begin our program, I would like us to allow you to introduce yourself to our audience, who you are and what you're working with, what you're doing.
Okay, as has been said, I'm Mwalango Kililio. Currently, I'm working as chairman of the Family Federation for World Peace. Very much concerned about how the families are functioning or dysfunctioning, helping families to be better families and therefore raise better people from the families.
Okay, Reverend, we're talking about character education. Why yes. Character? Why character? Why is it important for character to be, something to be embraced?
Character is very important because character embraces like our thoughts, our minds, and what we give priority to. And if we are of good character, then what we'll be doing, our actions will be good to this community and to the society. So therefore, character education is at the core of how we live our life, our lifestyle. That's why character is important.
And do you think character education has been really something that has it been really embraced? Is it something that has been, advocated for as a society, or there's something which is really missing in terms of character education?
Well, unfortunately, we can say that in the recent times, there has not been emphasis on character education. The normal school curriculum provides education on the various subjects like history, geography, physics, chemistry, biology. And all these are teaching us to be people who are technically capable, people who can do something that can help the community in some way. Okay. But actually, character education is to teach us to become good people, people who love, people who live for the sake of others, people who are unselfish. So character education is of essence, actually, even though we have not had a lot of it. Okay,
and how best can you define character?
Character basically is defined by how you prioritize in your life internal values rather than than external values. A human being has dual aspects. We have a spiritual aspect which cares about love and relationship, but we have an external aspect, and in our external aspect, our body, we care about food, shelter, clothing, sex. All these other matters are material matters. But how you prioritize between your fulfilling your material desires and spiritual desires, that defines your character. So that means a person of character is one who will do things because they are right, not just because they benefit themselves. So somebody of good character will definitely be unselfish person. He will mind about others and he will do things because they are right to do, rather than because they benefit themselves.
And what do you think is the importance of character?
In this sense, therefore, character is important because if people grow up well and they become people of good character, we are going to have people who are basically good citizens. They are not only selfish people who may prosper themselves, but they care about the prosperity of all of us together. So such a person of good character will be the right person to care and to do and to be responsible over public resources and public activities. Yes.
Maybe if you can relate character to leadership. What has been your observation as per the current situation in terms of politics in Kenya? How can you relate character and the kind of leadership that we have?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Your own view.
Yes, in my own view, really, people who should take leadership are people of the best character. The most well-groomed person in terms of character should be the leader, because that is the person who is most unselfish and therefore qualifies to be responsible over public assets or public resources. The person who cares too much about themselves rather than taking care of others should not be a leader, because their actions will tend towards benefiting themselves, and therefore they should be very far away from leadership.
And do you think that the society is ready to, eliminate people who are of no character? Because you can see people who've been, you know, like the issue of corruption. People have had issues, but still, when they vie for, they're given an opportunity to lead. Do you think the society is really ready to do away with people who are not, you know, of character, if I may say?
Yeah. I think our society needs to begin to recognize what is going on here. Our society needs to begin to realize that character is gold. Character is more important than even the wealth somebody may have or they may have accumulated. Because it is in character that we can see the future of ourselves and our community. Person of good character, you can be sure what kind of decisions they will be making. That is, they will be making decisions which benefit the public rather than themselves.
Okay.
But a person of bad character, it means he values more himself, or the individual desires override the desires of the public. And therefore, such a person shouldn't really be taking leadership. But we need to educate the public on that matter. Because I think most of the people who compose the public, or rather citizens, have been educated themselves just to take care of themselves. Okay. Scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Okay.
Rather, they should be educated to know that if we all live for the sake of others, then we shall have a really wonderful society that cares about everyone.
Okay.
Yes.
Then what influences character of someone?
I should say now the most important school of character is the family itself.
Okay.
It is in the family where we learn to love. It is in the family that we basically learn relationships. It is in the family that we learn to empathize with others. So in fact, character education is not taught in formal schools. It should be taught in the family. But the family members also need education. Quite often, somebody becomes a husband or a wife before they know what they need to do as a husband or a wife. So in essence, what we're doing in my organization is to educate families and explain and guide people to recognize the importance of the family as a school of love, or school of ethics, school of morals. It is in the family that we receive love. And when we receive love from our parents, that itself has an impact on our character. Because we begin to appreciate and we begin to value the internal aspect, love, truth, more than just the material things.
Okay.
Yes. So in the family, we learn to love through the love we receive from our parents, then the love we share with our brothers and sisters, and finally you form your own family where you receive another aspect of love, the love between husband and wife.
You've just mentioned about family. What about institutions such as school, churches, and even the society or the community?
Yes. All those institutions actually should be supporting the family. They should be doing the same thing the family is doing, so that we grow up to become loving people, good citizens. Good citizens are not taught in schools. You learn to be a good citizen by first of all being a child of filial piety, learning to love your family members as the way it begins, but it must grow so that you begin to love your community, then you begin to love your group where you belong, then you begin to love your nation. At the moment of loving your nation, you become a patriot. Okay. But also there's a way to go even beyond the nation and be a person who loves the human beings, and you become a saint. So a saint is the one whose love is beyond the nation, you know, to the whole race of human beings. Beyond that, then you become a divine son or daughter. That means somebody who loves not only people, but even whatever the people need. That means they love the creation as well, the environment, because that is what supports human beings.
Okay. Way back, children were used to be brought up by the society or the community.
Yes.
In the recent, in our modern society today, can we say that the society also has an influence to, you know, in somebody's character?
The society definitely
Because now
influences.
we've just talked about the importance of family in nurturing somebody's character. What about the society?
The society truly influences character. In fact,
when
we are young, when we are babies, we are just confined to our family. But the moment we begin to step out of our family, we begin to get other influences, not just from our family members, but from the peers in school and from the teachers and whoever else you come into contact with. So basically, family begins to, the character begins to grow at home. But you continue to learn other things from the community, whoever you are interacting with. And therefore, whoever you are interacting with contributes to your character. Yes.
Fine. Maybe if we can maybe shed more light about education system in Kenya in relation to character development. The role that a school, the curriculum, or rather school plays in refining someone's character.
Well, I went to school in Kenya myself, and I know what I went through.
Okay.
I'm not an expert on the school curriculum as it is now, but I know that students are under pressure to do very well in the various examination subjects. So they are very concerned about the subjects that will be examined. There is very little in the subjects examined about being a good person, a person who is unselfish. Most of it is about learning something, learning how to do something technical. And you can become a very good engineer and create something very dangerous to human beings. You could become a biologist and create, some terrible things also. So in reality, there is a lack of subject that teaches people to become good people. There's lack of proper time to teach people to be unselfish. In fact, most of the times what we learn is in the arena of competition, everyone takes care of himself, and you want to be the best in your subject, and you might not even care about the last person in the same subject. So in reality, our kind of education system doesn't do much to educate people on character. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's now take a short break. We'll be right back after a short while. Don't go far.
तुझे इतनी भी खबर है कि तेरा हीरो इधर है, तेरा ध्यान किधर है, ये तेरा हीरो इधर है, तेरा ध्यान किधर है, ये तेरा हीरो इधर है.
This is your show. We talk about career planning and development.
People worship entrepreneurship. You look at entrepreneurs, you see them driving good cars, but it's not as easy as that.
It's very prudent not to postpone your dreams. If you believe in something, go for it.
They say 90% of the opportunities happen because of just showing up. Just showing up, period. If it's a tender that you're looking for, just show up, yes?
There are millions of ideas out there. The ones that do and make an effort with the little resource that you have, with the empty pockets that you have. What can you do?
Welcome back, and you're glad that you're still watching. We are still discussing about character development, and with me is the Reverend Mwalango Kililio, who is the chairperson of Family Federation for World Peace. Just to move on with our discussion, let us now move on to how character can influence or affect someone. Okay, a person. Let me say a person.
Okay, as I mentioned, character really determines clearly what you prioritize in your life. That means it affects your lifestyle, because in character we have what you value. Character is how you prioritize your values. If you value the truth more than anything else, for example, that means you will be somebody who will tell the truth whatever the circumstance. So that means even if you need something and you badly need it for your own physical desires or so, However, you'll tell the truth about it without minding whether you'll be disfranchised or you'll not benefit from the truth. So if you love, if you live by love, that means you value it so much. That means whatever decisions you're going to make, whatever you're going to whatever you're going to be doing will basically show or will be reflecting that love. Therefore, character is of essence in our life. It really determines our culture, because cultures come from values, and our values are embedded in our character.
Lincoln Abraham once said that character is a shadow, while what? No, he said a reputation is a shadow, while character is a tree.
Yes.
What can you comment about that?
Yeah, what you are, in other words, is more important than what people see, really. What you are, what your values are, is what will produce the reputation. Because you will live according to what you hold of value. And because of that, then your reputation will come. So the reputation follows, just like the shadow follows the person. In this sense, your reputation will follow your lifestyle, which is completely controlled by your character.
Okay.
So in that sense, I can say President Lincoln was explaining this point.
You also have another quote.
Yes.
Educating a man in mind and not morals is to educate a menace to the society.
That's exact. I mean, if you would educate somebody technically, then they can go forth and create the most horrible weapons. Because if they do not know how to love, if they do not love at all, he will be doing it as a technical thing, and it doesn't matter what effects it will have on humanity.
Okay.
So therefore, we need to educate people's mind or spirit or the heart. We need to educate people to love. So whatever they do will be colored by love. Whatever they do, they will do it because they care about society, because they care about humanity. But if we educate people without educating them to love, then they may do something which becomes a menace to society. So that's the meaning of that.
Okay.
So we'd rather educate people the mind. So the education of the mind, the education of the spirit of the soul, is mandatory education for each and every person, because we need everybody to be loving. But technical education, you can specialize according to your own talents and abilities. But the education of heart or education of love should be given to every human being. This is the basis, this is the basic education that everyone should have, so that we can have a good society.
Then,
instead of having a lot of police stations, let's build people of moral goodness who live above the law by their lifestyle, who don't need to be, to be given the way of living above the law. They need to live above the law. People who live by their conscience are people who don't need the law. By their own conscience, they will not do something wrong. So they don't need police around them, because they already cannot do something wrong.
in other words, are you advocating for the character education to be included in the curriculum, or what?
Character education is more important than technical education. That's the basic education for each human being. It's important to have good people than to have people who can make weapons. So that's why we need to educate everyone on character. After graduating in character, you can then specialize into something else. You can become an agriculturalist or a doctor, whatever it is, after you've become a good person. Yes.
Don't you think that younger generation are lacking, models in terms of, leadership?
Not only are they lacking models, which is correct, but also they are lacking even the true values.
Okay.
Even the values don't come out.
And
even
how?
the purpose of that education itself doesn't come out. Because as it is today, people are studying to pass exams. And sometimes after they pass exams, they can't even perform anything.
Okay.
So we need to educate people for a very clear goal and purpose of life.
Talk about values. How
Yes.
do people get, their values being installed in them?
Your value system comes actually by how you grew up. And from the moment you're young, you recognize that your parents don't appreciate if you don't care about your brothers and sisters. So you begin to realize, I see. So it means you begin to, the values are inculcated in life. They are not things that we go to learn in school.
Yeah.
In fact, we learn more from what we see and how we live than what we hear.
Okay.
So in fact, values are inculcated as we live our life, from home and from the society. If today, the person who is rated or known as to be very corrupt is again chosen, for example, to be a leader, then this whole society knows, okay, it's fine to be corrupt. So that's important, because people recognize values by what is happening around them.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Maybe to just wind up, to wrap up the program, I would
Yes.
like you to say something about character. Yeah.
As I mentioned, character is gold. We human beings live in duality. We have a spiritual being, or rather psycho-spiritual being, who is internal, unseen, and then we have the external being, that is seen. Sometimes the desires of the inner person are at variance with the physical desires.
Okay.
For example, you may want something, you desire something very well. Say, if it is, just to give a simple example, it's money. You want money. And then you are in a situation where there is some money, doesn't belong to you, but you can take it, and nobody will know. Now, at that moment, your mind, your conscience tells you, do not take it, it's not yours. But actually, your physical desire, the desires of yourself, tell you, take the money. You can solve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you need. So there are many cases whereby our mind and body are going in different directions.
Yeah.
Character determines which way we will go, which one will win. Your internal self, your conscience, or your desire, your body desire.
Okay.
Now that is character. Somebody of bad character is the one who values the internal aspects. He values truth, he values love more than he values the finance or things like this. Person of bad character, they tend to be selfish because they will put the desire of their bodies first before the desires of the general goodness or the desires of the mind. The faculty of the mind cares about others.
Okay.
The faculty of the physical mind doesn't care about others, it cares only about self. It is only sensitive to our desires. But our spiritual mind is sensitive beyond ourselves, the desires of others as well.
Okay.
Therefore, a man of good character is the one who's more connected or more prioritizes the internal aspect, the one
Rather
that
than
cares
the
about
outer.
others,
Okay.
the public. The one of the man of good character cares about public more than cares about the self.
Okay.
But the man of bad character cares about the self more than caring about the public.
Okay.
That I would say is a
And
summary of what character is.
how does character relate to integrity?
A man of character,
Yeah.
man of mature
In relation
character
to
is a
integrity.
man of integrity.
Oh, okay.
Integrity means you will do what you say you will do, and you'll do it the way you said you'll do it. Your word and deed become the same, because you will not bulge because of your selfish desires. Your body desires will not cause you to bulge, but you live by what you know is correct, and you'll do it at the cost of even yourself, your physical self. So that is integrity.
Okay. In Kenya we have a commission that deals with integrity matters.
Yes.
What is really missing, if I may ask, in your own observation?
I think anyone working for integrity
Yeah.
should themselves be there. They should be people of integrity themselves.
Because we've seen people have been there.
Yes.
And then they left the job, others came in,
Yes. Because I think they would do it as a job. This is not something that you do only as a job. It is more than a job.
Okay.
Yeah. To stand up for the truth, to stand up requires a real serious commitment. You yourself must have some integrity. Yes. And you must then be committed at the expense of yourself.
Okay.
Because you will be disadvantaged because of integrity. Yeah. If the general norm of your society is, scratch my back, I scratch your back, then if you stand up as a man of integrity, it will be difficult for you.
Okay.
All good people actually at some time had some difficulties. So to stand up in a society which does not have much integrity, as a man of integrity, is not easy. It's definitely going to be a task.
Okay.
Yes.
That is the chairman of Family Federation for World Peace, who is Reverend Mwalango Kililio. Thank you so much for joining us. Until we meet next time, have a nice evening.